what I, at least I don't know if this is true in fact, but in my personal observation, and that's what I assume is the reality, is that there's a lot of women who are business owners, but it's typically mom and pop shops. So there's just so many women selling clothes from home and cosmetics. So that's what I said again. What we're trying to empower with the courses that we're also looking at is to have those kind of things, where people can sell their kind of handicrafts, and people can sell maybe their own brand of soaps, and anything which actually can potentially be a business is what we're looking at. But there's a lot of women doing that, and I think plentiful. Um, but I think there's a dearth of women doing business in terms of, let's say, these big names that we see, the ones that are VC funded in the market, and the known names in the market that are huge brands. I think that's where there's a lack, because it's the same in the corporate world as well, right? You've got a good ratio of women always somewhere down, and then somewhere higher up is where there's a dearth of women. Um, so yeah, I don't know if this has to do with VCs not wanting to fund women. I've read articles, but I don't obviously know the reality of what it is over there. But otherwise, I don't think women are not doing businesses. In fact, you'll have a lot of husbands are doing jobs when their women are doing some kind of business. I think they're not doing a certain scale and things like that. But there's just a lot of women, I think, doing something, even like these ladies just selling tiffins from home. And I mean, everything would count in a sense as doing some sort of business. But I think the vision of where can you take this and look at it bigger. And that's also something that I realized when I started this, right? Like everybody was like, oh, you just do painting workshops. And a lot of my friends mocked me, right? Because they were like, are you a 40-year-old auntie who sits at home? And I was, that's the first thought that came, because when you're not funded, you start from basic, right? So you're going to do the small things that you do. It's not like at a job now you do certain things, okay, but here you do everything. I pack my boxes, and I have to pick up all the like everything. So you're down to doing those things. And I had so many friends who were just like, what a waste of time, are you doing what those ladies at home do after you studied all of this? Just go and do your MBA. And at some point, like I was telling my brother, because I have days when so I stay with my brother, and hence a lot of the references are my brother. But anyway, so some days when I was just sad, and I'm like, okay, this is what everyone says. Like, do you also think I'm doing something silly? And then that's when he told me it's just about the perception of who you want to be, right? Um, I could sell these art supplies, and I could think I do a small thing, but I could sell art supplies and I can be Camlin, right? And there, it starts small, but your vision can be big. But somehow family looks at it as you're doing this mom and pop thing, and so the friends also look at it as you're doing this little small little thing at home, and we're not going to take you seriously. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's women not doing it. I think like how do they take it forward? I think that's lacking of representation, where like there are women doing things at a larger scale for you to look up to. But otherwise, I think if you go and talk, there's just so many of them doing so many things, in fact.